Hi, it's time once again to take a look at what I colored for the month of July 2020, and I'll start with one I did in Johanna Basford's World of Flowers. Alright, I did this one with watercolors and a little bit of pencil for shading, and these two rows here I used Royal Lang nickel, the set that you fold out into different rows, and I wanted to compare it to a couple of other new watercolors I got, including the Van Gogh metallics, which I used around the borders of a lot of these individual circles, and the pretty excellent watercolors, these three here, these four here, and these two I did with Master's Touch, and you can feel the rough texture on the paper after using those. And I think that's it for this one. I added the little designs with a stencil in between to fill up the spaces. Next, I did two in Fantasy Fashions by Mingju Sun, and this is one of the books I'm aiming to finish, and it's coming up really soon. I've got maybe 4 or 5 pages left in this one, and I used Cezanne watercolor pencils for this, and metallic glitter gel pen for the trimming and her jewelry. And this one I did with the Faber-Castell Albrecht door, and for the background I used Master's Touch watercolor and some glitter gel pen. I did one in A Court of Thorns and Roses, based on the novels by Sarah J. Maas, and this was a illustration by Yvonne Gilbert. I did this for Olga Rani's color along, featuring characters wearing masks. And I used the Van Gogh metallic watercolors for their mask, and I also used the Albrecht Dürer watercolor pencils, and for other shading I used the Prismacolor Scholars. Next, I did one in Just Add Color Fashion Design. And on this one, I used Master's Touch and Arteza watercolors, and for the background, I used a stencil and Crayola Super Tips. This took a lot longer than it looks like. I think I spent almost 3 evenings completing just the background. Next, I did one in Japanese, Kimono Designs by Mingju-san. And on this one I use the Pretty Excellent watercolors and some big markers for the fine details on her kimono, and some Van Gogh watercolors and gel pens. And this was also included in Lovella's Color Along Color Your Horror 2020. Next, I did one in Prima Princesses using the Albrecht Dürer watercolors. Now, the problem with this one, the only issue I had with this illustration was she has 2 eyebrows on each side, or at least that's what it looked like. The lower line I colored as an eyebrow and tried to make the upper line a frown line, but after I colored it, it looked like these were the actual brows. So it looks like she has 2 eyebrows. But other than that, I had a lot of fun with this one. This background took a few evenings to complete. But I used the Albrecht Dürer watercolor pencils on almost everything but her skin, which is a base of markers and then shaded with an earth tone eyeshadow. Did one in Inklings by Tanya Bond. And for this one, I used the Sakura Koi watercolors and some glitter, some metallic paint for her jewelry, and some acrylic for the bird's wings. And that's pretty much it. Her skin was done with, I believe, chalk pastels. Her eyes were done with watercolors, as were her lips and everything else. And in Summer Nights, did this one. On this one, I used the Lucas Studio watercolors and some for the inside of the windows. I used the Faber-Castell Echo metallic pencils, and the background I used the neon Prismacolor Scholar pencils, and then I covered up the circles with white acrylic. And finally, in Steampunk from Color It, I think I marked it. Yeah, I did. There we go. I used the Cezanne watercolor pencils and pretty excellent watercolors. And what do I want to say? Oh yeah, the Van Gogh metallic watercolors for the background gears along here, and parts of the clock. And her skin was alcohol marker and then shaded with makeup. And I also used some glitter gel pen as well. Yeah. And that's all. That's all I did for the month of July. Part of it was spent in the hospital getting a new hip, so I'm still recovering from hip replacement. So that was my exciting adventure for the month. I hope you're all doing well during this insane year, and I'll be back probably with another haul video in a week or two. Bye bye.